let's look at some editing things. For one thing, we can select both of these images and rotate them around so that they're going in the right direction. But we can do much more, of course, than that. Number of options for editing in iPhoto. There are some pretty powerful internal editing tools in iPhoto, but also we can set it up so that when we double click the image in iPhoto, we can have it open up in another application and be edited. In this case, we have Photoshop on these machines, so I'm going to go to iPhoto Preferences, and I've already done this, but you'll see I've got it so that if you double click, it edits photos in Adobe Photoshop, and you can when you click on that initially, it will take you to this open window. You navigate to your Applications folder, down to the application that you wish to use to do the editing, and select that application, click Open. So once again, if I double click any one of these, they would open up in Photoshop for editing. We also want to have the option to edit the image right here in iPhoto. If we right click on the photo, it gives us some options. If we go Edit, or let's click Done here, right click Edit using full screen, we have the ability to, by scrolling down here, adjust a number of factors here. Here's exposure. Of course, it would lighten and darken. We can increase or decrease contrast, the saturation of the color, or desaturate it. Definition is a sort of heightening of the edge detail of an image. Adjust highlights and shadows separately. This I find really useful because it'll often bring out detail and shadow that we don't even see at first. Of course, sharpness and denoise is if you've got a noisy image, usually something that's over or that is shot at very low light levels, it will help to minimize that noise. We also have color temperature and tint. Okay. Another thing that we can do here is various kinds of effects. This goes to black and white instantly. And the nice part about these, they're sort of non-destructive. You can always go back to the original. There's a sepia tone, the original. Boost color I find interesting. Sometimes it's a nice algorithm. It's a nice capability built into this program. It intensifies the color, but it's not quite the same as saturation. It just makes the colors kind of richer. I often use this. And of course, the more you click it, the more intense it gets. Again, back to the original. And you've got a few kind of artsy effects, vignetting, matting, vignetting, blurring the edges. Got too many things going on at once here. There we go. So we're getting some edge blur, which all can be kind of useful things for expressive purposes. Another thing we can do is retouching. if you've got a mark, a boo-boo somewhere, it can be taken care of using this tool. Let's take this little thing, even though this isn't a boo-boo, it's a mark here. And you can see how that has literally removed that blemish, in this case that was actually an object that was in the on the cart, but it indicates how you can get rid of that. I'll undo that so you can kind of see. There it is. So there was that little black dot or whatever it is, and we removed that. But you can see how that could be useful in cleaning up images that might have some dust on them and so forth. Ability to straighten. This image is actually shot fairly straight, but if it weren't, we could straighten it up. Cropping is useful. And very simply done in this program. We can constrain the proportions or reproportion the image. See how that's made that change.